Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Depends where you're located. In this session, we're going to speak about the content of the course, so you can have a look, a quick overview on the topics we're going to deal with in this course. Remember to access always this URL, which is the English version of the courses, is integrativemedicine.talentlms.com, because then we have the Spanish version. Which is this one, okay, but in your case you'll be looking at this. If you haven't signed up yet, you can just click on this button and you can just fill out all the information. All of it is important for us to know, and mostly also your your professional area. If you're already signed up, you just have to log in. This case, we're using this example. Once you log in, you will find the courses you have purchased. We're going to take a look at the musculoskeletal system, like in this case. So you have different options over there, but let's take a look first into this. You'll have a reminder here, which is important. A few days before you finish the course, it would be good that you finish all the content before the course expires, because as you can see here, you have the expiry date. Once you purchase the course, it will give you those 60 days specifically for this course, and it's convenient that you finish a few days before, so you can have time to review or download the stuff you need, for later for consultation. So you just click on there. You'll find the description as you find when you are logged out in the front page. But then in this case, you will have the links available or enabled. In this case, it's all a dynamic menu where you can access to the different links. So you will find here how to use. Well, you have, first of all, just a small text on how to use the different tools that we have for the virtual campus in text format. Then you'll have, a video where we show how to use the practical anatomy lab, which is essential and really, really interesting. Is where you're going to consolidate the knowledge of the different lectures. There's some recommended bibliography, which is specified here. We say these books are for the medical school level. Of course, you're gonna get as deep as you want, but I think it's interesting to have, the complete information, so you can have a look whenever you want, rather than to have something very restricted, and then you get sometimes unlimited. Anyways, that's the part of the more or less the introduction, the tips about the campus, the virtual campus, and some interesting information that you need to know before you start. Then we dive directly into the skeletal system, where we give you some recommendation about the 3D Atlas app that's very interesting in the Android market and in the Apple Store. Check on that because it's worth it to have it. We're going to go for the movements, types of movement, functions, and composition of the skeletal system, the types of bone, and the microstructure. We give you also some additional resources, external resources, which we have reviewed from hundreds of videos, and we have selected the ones which we consider more interesting, that will boost up your knowledge on the topic together with our lecture. The microstructure as well. Then we'll give you some lectures on the joints and the mechanics of the joints. We have interactive homework over here, where you can see how to identify each one, and then it's interesting way of learning using these three models, definitely, and this is the course. Our course is based on that. We have also, of course, the first practical 3D anatomy lab, which is the human skeleton. Here will give you the initial instructions on how to use the tools. A few seconds will take to load. It's normal, but once it's there, you can rotate it or using the tools to pan around the model and check the different structures, zoom in, vertebral column, and check out the names of the different in general. All right, but that's explained already in the lecture of the how to use the practical anatomy. So we'll skip that. After that, we'll enter directly into the vertebral column. We will we'll give an overview of the vertebral column. We'll give some examples of soy back and hunchback, so you can see the difference with a healthy spine. And then we will enter to the anatomy of a single vertebra. We will cover the cervical, the thoracic, sacral, and coccygeal vertebra. We'll give you an external resource again, an additional resource. That's why we call it additional resource, because it's not produced by us, it's by external resource. But nevertheless, very, very interesting, and that's why I included here. And this you will see here in 3D model, but here you will see the real human vertebra. Of course, we're going to include the practical anatomy lab in 3D, so you can retain the information of the vertebral column, and of course a test just to check out how you have if you have really grasped the knowledge of the topic. Then we will discuss also about the human skull. We will give you in both cases a practical guide, quite complete and not too profound, not too deep, but not too easy either. It's an intermediate level. We try to explain it as simple as possible, but we want to be rigorous in the transmission of the knowledge. As I said, the human skull, we also have a practical guide, which include here in the PDF, and then the lectures of the overview, the anterior, lateral, posterior, practical anatomy labs of the lateral and anterior view of the skull. In this case, with the explanation in the text, and you will see the model of the skull, where you can again check the names. We have enabled some terms already, with this different terms that we already added for you, but you can play with this model by yourself. You can dissect it. We explain how we do that. See, for example, the interior of the cranial cavity, the cranial fossae in plural. We have a lecture specifically on that, etc., etc., etc. More on the the temporal and infratemporal fossa, which is very, very important we will see that in the lateral review, but you will have the chance to practice it here in the practical 3D anatomy lab. The sutures with the corresponding practical anatomy lab, the bones of the brain case. We'll start with the parietal, the temporal, again with another practical anatomy lab in order to review the parietal and the temporal bone, right? We use this model in the X-ray mode, so you can just see the parietal and the temporal, right? With some of the terms that we have already added for you, and together with this and the text, you will be able to understand perfectly well how the bones are set up in the human skull in this case. More of that, frontal and occipital, sphenoid, ethmoid, facial bones then, and then the cranial fossa, which I told you about before. Of course, a test on the human skull. And then we'll dive into the muscles. All right, we'll speak about the basic concepts, a test on the basic concepts, and then, of course, very important, the physiology of the muscle contraction and signaling at the molecular level. We'll give you we're going to try to give you a very it seems more complicated than it is, but it's not, because then we will give you this practical anatomy lab for you step by step on how to understand the different process that you need to know, in the muscle contraction. All right, you can be playing around with these models as well. This is more the molecular level, or this microscopic level, and you will see here, these animation that we have implemented here. You'll see the second step, what happens with the muscle contraction, the fourth step, the fifth step, and ending up with the muscle relaxation at the molecular level as well, the actin filaments and myosin filaments and the myosin heads. Also, you will have another external resource of the muscle contraction in a 3D animation, and then we'll speak about the muscles involved in mastication process and the muscles involved in the arm elevation and the shoulder rotation, and then we'll end up with the gait or walking cycle. If you have purchased this course, the Unit 2, with the homeopathic clinical tips, you will get this model, you will get this unit, where we speak about osteoarthritis mostly, and linked to the homeopathic remedies as well as the conventional treatment. But if you have purchased the other one, which is this one, is the 3D anatomy and physiology for everyone, does not include this reference. HAMSC 002 does not include the homeopathic clinical tips. It just finishes in the muscles. Okay. I guess if you purchase this one, it's because you're into the homeopathic practice and you're probably interested in the a little bit on the aspects of the clinical tips that we give. And as I said, this is the other course, which is very similar to this one, except that it does not include the other unit of the clinical tips. Just one last thing. Here at the end, you'll have all the files, the PDF, even the images that we have uploaded for you, so you can view them in big screen, and you can download them directly from your local station. All right, all this is material available for you, plus the videos and nothing else. This is the content basically of the course. I hope you enjoyed, and there's a lot way to go, so you better keep going. Thank you.